Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a wet welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. It's not so wet right now, but today we had definitely the worst weather that I've seen thus far over here. Then again, apparently it was also raining a lot during the night, but when I got up and went to work today, early in the morning, it was one of those times, in like in Hollywood movies where you have where like the wind is blowing towards you, or like your umbrella goes backwards and you're almost like falling back from the wind and the rain blowing in your face and whatever. That's what happened. So yeah, it was a fun journey upwards. In fact, there are a few people that were thinking that classes would be cancelled today, so but they weren't. I've actually got some more classes after this. Wednesday happens to be the day that I have most of that I have afternoon sessions. I'm not supposed to have any others. Well, I guess proper afternoon. Like on their timetables, it says stuff like midday, and when they say midday, they actually just mean they mean like after 1 o'clock. I don't know why. I guess it's the middle of the day for their sessions, I suppose. I'm not really sure. Point is, I actually have timed it for these for the first time, but in a while. But it should be fine. I mean, I could talk for much longer because I have such a vast amount of storage on this machine. But yeah, it's one of those things I don't really feel the need to push, quite honestly. So yeah, here we are now. I'm just checking to see, because I'm going down a different path. Oh, this is actually the exact same path that I was going to go. I was going to go up before, thinking it would lead me on a different route and avoid going up, but it turns out that way is up anyway, and it's also not as bad as I thought. So actually nope, that's pretty bad. Yeah. That's a hiking with parents on holiday type of path there, not filming yourself while talking type of path to go down. So I'm going to head in a different direction. So yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, so bad weather today, and some people thought we weren't coming in, and there were some complaints in the first and as of right now only English class that I've had today, where they were thinking like, why is that class not cancelled? Why are you in here? And the teacher said something like, I mean, are you getting wet right now? Because they're already inside, so and most people obviously like drive over here, or they get a coach or something. So ultimately, I was one of the worst off, and I still made it in. But anyway, enough about that. What's been going on this week? Well, I haven't had a chance to talk about any of the welding class as of yet, because at the time of last recording I hadn't had any of those welding classes. Because the first one, actually wait, I should in theory have had some on Monday. Oh, maybe I did actually. Oh wait, maybe I did talk about that from Monday, possibly, like the Monday before. Because oh wait, no, because I didn't start that Monday before. So yeah, that was my first class with the welding folks, and it's been quite interesting experience there, because it's obviously an area that I know nothing in. I don't even know. I never once been inside of a welding class as a student, and I still haven't, obviously. it's definitely a transformative experience. Let's put it that way. The teacher is hugely accommodating. He knows he's been through quite a lot of assistants before, as in language assistants, so he knows what he wants to get out of the people. And that class in particular is actually made up of older students who are actually returning to school. A lot of them apparently, I haven't looked at their records, but apparently they didn't get the best grades academically, and their actual inclinations are towards welding specifically. So this course is meant to train them up over the course of a year, and eventually they either get scouted by companies, or they will or I guess find their own. I know the teacher has a bunch of contacts. The teacher himself, actually, I feel like he might have been in the same boat. I haven't asked him necessarily. I do know that he told me that he never envisioned himself being a teacher before. But the class that I actually witnessed of his... Sorry, just waiting for a car to go past. Yeah, no, he was absolutely in his element. I described him as the clear vision of a man living his dream. Because, essentially, I'm going downhill now for a bit, this is not very good. So essentially the first session that I had was one where I took, like, he wanted me to take like different groups or something, and use one of the side rooms to door open, of course, that's part of the rules, but to just talk to them for a bit and assess their level of English confidence. And so that's what I did. So so it was a 3x3 situation. So I asked them a couple of questions about themselves, about welding, partly because I wanted them to talk about something that they knew about, but also because I'm just genuinely interested, because I really don't know the first thing. And after that class is one where I saw what they were doing, because there was a whole competition that was going on at the time. It was a competition between themselves and the teacher. So apparently they received a large order of scrap metal, and what they were assigned to do was make an 800 by 800 by 800 box, millimeters that is, using metal plates from the scrap metal pile themselves, and so to do that, they were they had to make 4 different sides and the bottom, because the top didn't matter. And the idea was, try to see if they could do it in an hour, I think it was, or maybe it was 50 minutes. Might have been 50 minutes, because according to the teacher, the record was 45, so it is doable. But ultimately, what let them down in the end, because I haven't told them this, actually. I'm only allowed to speak to them in English, so they might not understand, but that's another matter. I haven't told them, but while we were walking around, because I was shadowing the teacher, because I didn't want to walk randomly into the middle of like a dangerous area or something. Not that I would have done, I would have been fine, but I just didn't want to be like in their way, or I'm not really sure. So so I heard like all of his different comments, and a lot of them actually were, him laughing at the fact that he loves his job and he loves seeing like the competition and all of that stuff. Giving them a bit of a hard time too, it has to be said. It seems to be they have a bit of a banterous, almost, like unit type of dynamic, where there is a maximum authority, of course, but ultimately there's that there is a joking attitude and psychological warfare and a bit of a lad's atmosphere, if that makes sense to the British people watching me. And they are all lads, so that's, you know, it's not like anyone's being excluded to that, you know, that's just to clarify that. And I have run out of path. Well, actually, no, I haven't. I could go down there. You know what? Sure, why not? Am I leaving the town? I think, yeah, I am. I'm going in the direction away from the town. Anyway, so yeah, that, the comment that he was making a lot, actually, despite all that stuff, was this: what I haven't told them, that he was keeping you know, like track of the time, and he kept on saying, you know, like, oh, they can do it, like truly thinking that, yeah, they're not going to, like, they weren't going to beat the record, but they were going to be within the allotted time. And I can't remember what the bet was if they won, but yeah, they're the thing that let them down was at one point one of the plates unfortunately broke, and at that point all pandemonium broke loose, and then there was a whole debate about that. It kind of seemed a little bit, actually, another comparison I can make is it feels like one of those, like, cooking competitions, you know, like one of the Gordon Ramsay ones particularly, except for, you know, with fewer insults, not non-existent, but there were fewer, and but it did kind of feel like that. So at one point I said, you know, instead of the Great British Bake Off, it's the Great Galician Weld-Off. That's that was my contribution. And then after that I had like a extra round of like analysing the rest of them. And today, actually, I got those classes again, and I've restructured them based on my findings. And I'm not going to say, I didn't tell them who was in was like the shy ones or the more confident ones or whatever, but that was the idea. Because, yeah, some of them, I will say, they're very rusty on their English. They said themselves that they're rusty in their English. Some of them haven't either you know, didn't end up passing it, or they just haven't had a reason to keep it up. So it was kind of like, I guess, me trying to answer something in French right now, or even worse, German. Because I don't know if people know that I studied German for 1 year. Oh, okay, it's all the way over there. I was like, if that dog is nearby, I'm turning around. Oh wait, there is one nearby. Oh, but it's tied up. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Walking Wednesday and dogs do not mix. That's one thing about over here, actually. There's some people have dogs in their like front yards or something that they just end up like coming up to you and barking at you, and you know, overall you got to be prepared for that. You got to know which houses the dog owner houses. It's one of the survival techniques over here. But yeah, the welding teacher also promised that he would at some point, he's going to go over like different grammar lessons or something with them as well. And I'm hoping that I'll be in the room for that. If for no other reason than, okay, I need to turn around now because it's wet down here. If for no other reason, then I just want to see like what they're actually supposed to be learning and how. Because that's the thing about at least the English department over here, is that as far as communication goes, they haven't told me what they're actually studying. Now, that's partly because what they want me to do is the actual program that I'm a part of is meant to be like a cultural exchange. So, you know, I'm supposed to go over, you know, like cultural differences between the UK and here, and you know, all of that stuff. That gives you like material for like 1 or 2 lessons maybe. And ultimately, that's not always what the kids are interested in. You know, I don't want to pull the card of like, oh yes, I know what kids like or anything, but to be perfectly honest, I kind of do. Not necessarily all of them, but because of my internet background, that's something that they have latched onto quite a lot. It's no coincidence that I gained 4 subscribers after my first day of assistant classes here, and that has continued to be a trend. A lot of them actually call me Jacob as well. They know my real name. I use my real name as introduction, but you know, I guess Jacob is used to say in general, so, which makes a lot of sense, because I keep giving them the example of you pronounce it like Sean Connery, and of course their generation doesn't know who Sean Connery is, so that doesn't work for them. But yeah, like I never got a time to I never got like sat down and like, okay, this is what you know, these classes are studying, because a lot of them are the same year groups, but they're different classes. So you have like, for example, you know, first of ESO A, so I guess class 1A if you want them to go down that logic. So the first of is the actual grade, and then we classify from there. So I'm guessing they'll be covering a lot of the same material whenever I'm around, of course, because I'm handed control of the lesson plan. So my reaction is, of course, let's talk about some writing or a little bit of theatre, or more often, here's how I make videos or songs. I'll give you an example. Now it's your turn. So I had a repeat lesson today, but as in I got the same group twice today for the first time, and I think both other groups I have today are also repetitions. So that was a class entirely dedicated to songwriting. Kind of like how the Leon class did script writing for a bit. It really depends, because it was also, I gave some of them that assignment at the end of the last lesson, and other people got the script assignment because they were more interested in writing scripts. So there's an element of like, I'm trying to get them to choose, again, to do something that they're interested in. So that's the advantage. The disadvantage is that I can't, you know, prepare them for anything with, you know, within like what they're actually going to be assessed on. And to some extent, that's not my job to do. Like, I understand that. That's the English teachers themselves that are covering the curriculum, and my role is not that. But at the same time, you know, I am in somewhat of a unique position where I can help out in different ways if allowed to do so. Because I mentioned before, but the teacher last week that I got requested that that like none of her students would find out that I speak Spanish, and she tried to keep up that ruse for as long as possible, which is very difficult, because whenever you say words like tortilla or salvatierra or something like that, you know, the people are going to notice. and they did. And some of the time, of course, it's a case of you know, making sure that I so there was a sheep that was there, and there's the dogs. Whenever there's a sheep, there's a dog somewhere. That's a sheep, pretty sure. Oh, and it's following me. Okay. As long as it's trotting alongside me and not actually... Okay, it's going in there. Off it goes. Okay. Just didn't want it like following me the entire time. I am heading back off to school, so I don't want Mary's little lamb. I'm gonna take refuge in here for a second because there's a car coming. But yeah, the teacher this week that I got said, you know, it's okay because the class is speaking to me in English, and you know, or at least trying to, and whenever they don't know certain words, I can then you know, translate for them, or the teacher himself does it. The English teachers here speak a lot of Spanish to the students because of the organization, and that's different to my primary school because that was a full bilingual school, so they did 50-50. So some classes, because of the fact that you'd spent like you know, your entire life at that point, because you can study your entire life in that single school. It goes all the way from nursery to what they would call sixth form or bachillerato. So that's that was that. So that's why I guess my impression was a little bit different than here, because obviously they don't get as much contact time, and that is something that I accounted for, but maybe not to the level that I could have done. And yeah, that's on me. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I'm in a unique position where I can actually, you know, if you all do ask, I can help. Like one of the groups that was working on the song today asked me about like how to rhyme, which has got me thinking that after I finish filming this, I'm going to prepare a presentation for the repeat classes, because what happened was that group was trying to, had written an original song in Spanish, and they were going to translate it into English, and they wanted it to rhyme. Problem is, of course, what rhymes in Spanish, or any language for that matter, will not rhyme in English or, you know, any other. So what you end up with at that point is double the work, as the teacher puts it. And as he thought of like the perfect examples for that, I'm going to make a presentation about maybe like Phineas and Ferb or something, because their situation, their theme song translation is the perfect example of this. Some shows are able to, you know, get it just right, or not have too much of an issue, or just don't care about rhyme schemes or whatever. But yeah, with Phineas and Ferb, like that's the thing where, again, it's sometimes kind of hard to recognize someone's like own, you know, like achievements or their own value, because I remember somebody asked me at one point, oh, well, have you any idea how many people can do the things that you do as far as language goes? And I said, like, hundreds of thousands, I imagine. I don't know how many people have, you know, grown up in one country and have then moved to another, but it's quite a few, and I assume that a lot of them are quite proficient at the language. But here, in this moment, if it goes to plan, and this, I talk about like the translation in the songwriting class today, that is a class that in no short terms, oh, hold on. That's a class that in no short terms I think only I can do, or maybe not, or maybe me and whoever else, because it's not just about knowing the translations or even understanding the translations, or what has been changed to make up for the rhyme scheme. It's also knowing and caring about rhyme schemes, knowing Phineas and Ferb, and having the inclination to talk about media. And that combination, that is where I can say, okay, this is a rare skill that, or set of skills that I possess in this order. I have a particular set of skills and I will apply them, you know, Liam Neeson style. So that's what I'm going to do after this. But yeah, it is interesting because, again, like a lot of them will, some classes won't ask about too many things. most of them care a lot more about the YouTube side of things. They'll ask me questions like, you know, what's my favorite food or stuff like that, which I'm guessing is because they can say those things. But ultimately, I can tell that a lot of them want to know more about the other side of things, and I guess that means that Denethor's wife was actually, you know, correct in that sense, because when she asked me to give that class, you know, a year ago in Lyon, which led me here today, what she said was, you know, teach about what you know. She was a computing teacher, so that was easy for her to say, but they get access to computers sometimes in order to, you know, to work on things. So yeah, who knows? And I might, and now I have a spare laptop, I can actually show them how to use, can actually walk them through the process of making a Galician video, maybe, or something. Because yeah, we might just be focusing on songs or scripts or something. I don't know, but some of them are probably more designers, because a lot of Galician YouTubers are designers and are their age. So it makes a lot of sense. So on one hand, like I said before, not having access to the curriculum is okay, because I can talk about other things. But if I were able to see some more to do with that, which I think I will in 2 weeks' time at least, or maybe not, maybe 1 week time, because the teacher I'm with next week asked me to talk to her tomorrow about timetable stuff, and mentioned that she might have me work on activities that are to do with what they're learning in the class at the time. To which I say, yes, that's not a thing that I can do. But yeah, obviously I won't know, I won't be able to get a fair comparison until then. Same thing with the welding class, because of course, you know, like the reason I brought up their you know, competition was A, it was hilarious, but B, because it was all about communication, and that's what they've brought me there for as well. So communication in the actual workshop between them and organization, which they will need. They're not doing extra work that they weren't able to apply, and that's overtime they're not going to get paid, which is what the teacher told them while sipping on his Coca-Cola that he got, and encouraged me to do the same for psychological warfare. He had a straw in everything. Like I said, banterous person. But yeah, but of course, if they're going to, I found out that they're apparently going to, there's a whole contact where they get some, like, you know, company in Finland that recruits people a lot, and there are some spots that the teacher will be choosing to send some of the more proficient people, because they need English for that. So it's important for them, but again, grammar is the foundation of that. So that, and that is the thing that is holding them back right now, because the thing is that, you know, the welding teacher told me, as long as they can communicate and be understood, that's all he cares about. But the problem with asking me that is, because I know what they're trying to say, because I have been I have learnt alongside people who are in the same position, like my primary school friends. They learned those same, like, grammatical structures and everything that they have gone through. Because I know that, and because I know how sentence structures work in Spanish, I know what they're trying to say, I fill in the blanks for them automatically. Like, that's not something I can't switch that off. It's like pretending not to speak Spanish. There's some things you can't control outside of, like, acting environments or whatever. But, you know, I mean, come on, I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis. So that becomes the issue there. So asking me that doesn't quite work, because, I mean, of course, you don't want them to be, I guess, more welding. That's not them, by the way. That's a different place. like, in some ways you don't want to have a case where you get somebody who doesn't necessarily know any of the language or any of Spanish, and therefore you're having to try to find some common ground. You're scrounging around for ages, not being able to communicate. Like, you're there to help them. I'm there to help them. So because of that, my method, of course, is, okay, I'll translate for them, or because a lot of the time they don't even understand then the first thing of what I'm saying, I'll be like, okay, so this is what this word means, this is what this one means, and I'll put the sentence together for them, so they can then do the same. But you can't do that without having that same foundation. So I am not the ideal person for what the welding teacher is looking for, but I guess I'm kind of like Batman in that case. I'm not the assistant that he wants, but I'm the one that he probably needs. And again, so once we go over the grammar stuff, and then I can be like, okay, here's the next level, so here's what you've learned in the class, now hello, here I am, put it into practice. That's what I want to do. So we'll see how that works out, because it might or it might not. You never know. But it's time for me to head back up there now and work on that Phineas and Ferb presentation, because that is something that I can do in the way that only I can do it. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters, and subscribe if you haven't already. And on that note, until next time, farewell. Oh wait, I forgot to mention this. So one thing that happened at the end of last week was that because my coordinator was helping the German exchange, I was supposed to be with her this week, but I had to switch over because her class, she wanted to cover like the normal topics and everything, and not have me derail stuff further for them to make up for lost time. So because of that, I had to scrounge around, and I didn't have a printed version of my schedule. So the teacher I'm with this week was gracious enough to give me a copy of his, and then cross out the stuff I didn't have, and say that the welding classes that I would have with the welding teacher are going to be the same every single week. So those are fixed points, so everything else I just account for by whatever classes the other teacher have in English, which is a huge relief. And I'm now in the group chats with the English teachers, so that won't happen again if it were to, which I don't think it would. So it's just my ill-timed arrival, I guess. But yeah, I had to say that towards the end, because that was a thing that stressed me out over the weekend. Because over the weekend I was sick, so I didn't want to focus on that until Sunday. And then I had to go work on Monday. So yeah, anyway, now I'm off for real. So on that note, until next time, for real this time, farewell.